usually like to start most things with a quick prayer, so I'll do that here. God, thank you for this time that we have a moment to, pause on this beautiful day, and you really share some interesting ideas and life experiences that hopefully can be really encouraging, and that everybody in this room, myself included, can be encouraged and can learn things, as we talk today. I just help, Megan and Kris to know that they don't have to have the perfect answers. Help them to pause when they need to and think about, how they want to respond, and give them the space to just share authentically their experience. And that authentic experience is probably what's going to be the most helpful to hear anyway. And just help everybody who's here to be able to receive something from this that's going to be useful, that they can apply, and it helps them to feel healthier and better. In your Son, Jesus Christ, amen. All right.
Right? Automatic response.
Feels like we might need to. All right, so this is Megan. This is Kris. They are the featured stars of the night here. So we got some of the before and afters and stuff like that for them. I just figured maybe we'd just start off with the quick, what is your weight gain, weight loss story, the short version? All right, Kris, you go first.
The short version was 6 years ago. My oldest son was getting married, so my motivation was I didn't want to be in pictures. I didn't want to look like that when he was married. So my motivation to lose a certain amount of weight just kept me going, and 6 years later, I'm still doing it. Still doing it, yeah. That's my short story.
All right, Megan, what do you got?
Mine is, it's probably been like 4 years since I had kind of been overweight all my life, but I just kind of looked at myself one day and I'm like, I don't know what I look like under all of this, and I just felt like I was ready to make a substantial change and see like what the results could be, and it took me a little bit of time to like get behind it like fully, but once I did, it was started with diet, and then it started with exercise over COVID. I did the online program here, and that got me through like quite a bit of it, but then when everything was kind of back in session, I felt like I was losing steam from the at-home portion of it. So last November was when I started coming here, and I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I thought I'd talk to Kris about this a little bit too, and I thought maybe it'd be fun to start with. Okay. What are the questions that people ask you? All right, so either one, if you think of one, you can share what people ask you.
Yeah, mine is constantly, did you have surgery? I get constantly, you did not do that without surgery. Yes, I get that a lot, and I just reinforce people I never had any weight loss, anything but doing workouts. So, no surgeries, no Ozempic.
You said people ask how long it took you or something.
Yeah.
So what is it? How long did it take you to lose the weight? The initial bit was.
So I think I lost. So I started in June, and my son was married in December, and at that point I lost 85 pounds for the wedding. So that was quick, but that was needed. And then after the wedding, it was 40 pounds, and then those last 15, 20 pounds took me a very, very long time. Yeah, it was probably a good year. Was it a good year? It had to be a good year that it took me though, just to get that.
You do have a graph.
Of course you do.
They did it all the way down there. You're pretty much at that same spot, somewhere around summer 2022.
Yeah.
So you've been pretty much hovering around that spot for
a few years.
For a couple years now. Yeah. And so, which is admirable too.
Yeah.
Is actually maintaining for a little bit on that, as well. And then, any other questions? You get any questions?
I get a lot of similar ones to that, but even like the pictures that you guys see up there is still me 60 pounds down from what I was. So in totality,
like your starting picture.
my starting picture
So
there
you're
is
actually-
60 pounds
you're
down
actually
from my
down
heaviest.
from your heaviest.
Oh,
In that
okay.
starting picture. That's when she came in person.
Yes.
Is that starting picture.
Yeah, so like,
she's about 70 from that photo right there.
yeah, yep. So in totality, I'm down 110 pounds. Yeah, thanks. But when I came in, I had lost 80. I had gained back 20, so I was like 60 pounds down when I showed up. And it's been a lot of. I've learned so much being here, and I feel like that's the biggest thing. Is everyone like just thinks it's been over a shorter period of time, and my muscle and my strength and the last bit of it has been through here, which has been huge. But I feel like a lot of people have asked if I've had like outside support outside of just my nutrition and fitness, and it really has not been.
Like a medication.
Yes.
or
Yep.
something.
Like, what's the secret is always like the big thing, and it's really not. There isn't one. It's like.
It's not a secret.
Yeah, I feel like you always say that. It's like,
Secret.
it's just the hard work, and it's just like the focus. Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a terrible word.
I know.
Yeah, like a rough thing, but worth it.
Yeah,
It's worth it
absolutely.
to get there. All right, so and I got one other thing. Did you ever consider surgery or medication in that process? So you're sitting at kind of like your heaviest weight. I mean, you're weighing a lot of different options, probably. And now were those on the table at all?
Well, I told you this. The first month that I joined, every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning on the drive up, a freaking commercial would come on about gastric bypass. And I'm driving and I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm like, ah. So like I was like, am I doing this? And I would talk to you about stuff like that, and you just kept reassuring me you don't want surgery, you don't want to do that, it's life changing.
If you're losing weight,
yeah, you're on the
should
right.
just keep going.
Keep going, yeah.
Don't stop losing weight to have surgery.
Yeah, because
just keep losing.
but like everybody else, I was like, oh, would that be easier? Like I think that a mentality is, what is the easy way?
And it seems like, and sometimes it does look easier. I think,
Yeah.
it's like a surgery or a medication or something like that could look easier, but there's other consequences that sometimes you have to deal with later on.
Absolutely.
So you have the surgery, and sometimes it affects how your body absorbs things, and things like that. Like there's the medications, there's side effects to those and stuff too. There's other complications involved. So you have to weigh out all those factors. I don't think any of those things should be like forbidden from anybody using or doing. But if you can manage it without, I think it's probably better.
Right.
Probably better. There's fewer, and the complications of doing diet and exercise are usually healthier complications. It's like, I have other benefits.
Other options,
Side effect is
right.
I can squat down easier. It's nice.
Right. And that's what you kept telling me all along. You're like, you don't need that. You don't need. You got me through that little hump.
Yeah. All right. What are some of your favorite benefits that you're experiencing? What are some things that you enjoy
Take this and go ahead.
about being lighter there?
Yeah, like I mean, all in all, I feel like it's just everything's easier. Like I got to the point where like I hated trying on pants like at the store, like I hated bending over to tie my shoes. It was just something I like thought about a lot. Like, oh god, annoying, like it's hot, it's hot, it's sticky, like ugh, like I don't want to do it in the summer and things like that, and things were just complicated. So now for me it's like it's not something I think about like at all anymore. Like I was so immobile, like I couldn't really like move, and I'm least flexible I've ever been in my whole life, and I'm like 30, like I'm 36 now, but I started this I was like 32, and like I literally was just totally out of shape and uncomfortable all the time. Everything was uncomfortable, and now I just really don't feel that at all. I have like way more energy than like I ever have. And it's just been like I'm alert, I'm awake, I move, I can do things even outside of here that like I just never, I don't have to think about. And it used to be like extra thought all the time in my mind for sure. Yeah.
It's a good benefit,
Yeah.
It's a good feeling,
A lot of the same as you. I started this I started this when I was 49, so I was a lot older than you. And, I do a lot more now. I do a lot more outside. I paddleboard, I hike, I'm constantly going now. Things are much easier than they used to be. You don't think about throwing your shoes on and just going now, where before it would be like, oh, can I do it? Or, where now it's just like, yeah, let's go, I'm ready. So it's a different freedom. It's a different freedom for sure, yes.
Okay, what are some of the downsides of being leaner or smaller or?
Having to buy new clothes. I don't know. It's like fun.
I loved that.
There isn't like
TJ Maxx.
Yeah, your clothes, your clothing size changes.
Yeah.
Some of your favorite items may not fit.
I guess I feel like, not that I feel like obligated, but I know on like the tougher days, because, it's just newer, if you will. Like after all this time, like I feel like waking up on the days where I'm like tired, I'm tired all the time. I go to 6 a.m. class, like I'm up early, but like I won't give myself an excuse to not go no matter what happens, because I know myself enough to know that if I give myself even one day, it'll be a pattern. So whether I'm tired or not, like I don't want to say like feel guilty, but I know I'll feel better if I do it. So I don't give myself the option like not to.
Yeah. It's good logic there, because you're like, I'm going to be tired no matter what.
Right.
I might as well be tired and have done a workout.
Exactly. Yep.
And you may come in tired sometimes, but you always leave smiling.
I know, I'm like, at least get me through the warm up and then I'll be better. But they're the first people I talk to every morning. So
It's true.
yeah.
It's true. Start off the day.
Absolutely.
All right. So what about you? Any downsides that you?
Besides being cold all the time. No. Yeah, I'm cold all the time now. Yeah. Now I'm the person who has to have a sweater all the time. I can't. No.
That's a compliment. Colder.
I mean, it is like you said. It is a fight. I mean, for me, not that the fun is over, but I strived so hard to get to that one place, and it was pushing and pushing. I mean, I lost half of my body weight. So, I pushed and I pushed for that, and it was fun, and maintaining is great, but it's not quite as fun, So there's times where I struggle with that, where I'm like, I'm not striving for something, so to speak, but I know that I have, I went on vacation, I splurged, but I know what's in my toolbox, and I know now I can do those splurges, and I know how to fix them. Where before I didn't know how to fix them, and I would just, if I gained 10 pounds, I would gain 10 pounds more, and 10 pounds more, but now if I gain 10 pounds, I'm like, okay, I know what to do to fix this now. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I have what I need to fix it.
Yeah, maintaining, and for many people, and probably for 80% of you too, is like weight loss sometimes might even feel easier than maintaining. Because you're like, I've lost weight before. Like I've done that.
Yes.
But it's the keeping it off too is a separate challenge. And it is, it is like it's fun, right? I mean, like you hit the numbers and stuff like that. And you're like, I got down again. Like there's a rush that comes with that. And at some point you're like, I really shouldn't keep hitting the lower numbers as much.
Right.
I shouldn't be going too far.
Right.
Too far. And then finding a way to actually still have some, finding the balance.
A balance,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
absolutely.
to piggyback off of that, like my parents are here, they came, which is super cute.
Nice to meet you. It's
Like
so
both of them have always been super active, like my whole upbringing. So, and they have like the perfect balance, and it's like what I've always like strived for. So like I used to drink a lot of beer and like go out and like eat whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and I would feel awful afterwards. But like they've always had a routine during the week and then had a little bit more fun on the weekends and like been able to like maintain better. So I'm like, that's kind of what I've always looked for, like get to my goal and be able to like have some fun, but stay active. You know, they've always worked out, they've always like eaten really well during the week and then had a little more flexibility on the weekends. And it's not a 7 days a week like I was doing, but like that is more reality. It's like a lifestyle adjustment and like a forever thing when you commit to it.
That's good. It is that balance. Yeah, like if every day becomes like the weekend.
Exactly.
You know, then you're in trouble.
Yep. Right.
You know,
as fun as that may sound.
But, you know, right. It's fun for a short time.
Right.
You know, then you gotta pay it back.
Right.
That's hard. That's hard. You know, because a standard like kind of weight loss pattern for a lot of people is they lose some weight, they get to a place where they don't despise themselves as much. You know, and then they kind of get happy with that, and then they kind of slowly listen back on. Maybe sometimes not as slowly, because maybe they deprive themselves so much to get there. You know, that they're just I can't wait to get to stop doing all the stuff I'm doing right now. You know, and so then once they finally go, I'm good right there. That's good. That's my spot. You know, and then they go, I'm going back to all the stuff I like to do, and it's like, you know, it comes back on, and a lot of times it comes back on plus some. Before people really take action. So getting that place where like you're taking action when it's just plus a little bit, not plus all the way back plus 10 pounds.
Right.
You know, is a good trick there too. And so you kind of answered this one a little bit, but about like early life here. You know, have you always struggled with your weight, or was there a season that really started the weight gain for you? Kris could sort of cover it a little bit.
Yeah. No, I have always struggled with my weight. I've been active, but I raised 3 boys who were athletes, and I thought I could eat like 3 athletic boys, and you know, and it just would come on, and I've always struggled, even when I was younger. So I didn't take control of it until, I would always do little diets, but again, I would do them, and then I'd drink beer and have pizza, and then I would gain more, and so I really didn't get serious till when I was 49. So this was my first really serious attempt with it. And
so you it's kind of like a steady gaining of the weight. Not any like sudden peaks or anything like that, but just kind of just
keep
steady,
but
there.
And ignoring it and just kept going and going.
I pretty much like came out of the womb chubby, I think. But my family's just like very Italian, so I was very much raised with like no portion control or anything, and like my babysitter was my grandma, who was just like eat, and it was like very large portions from very early on. So I pretty much always was capable of consuming like quite a bit, and it was always like carbs and pasta, like the bad kind, like pasta, and always dessert and bread and things like that. So I pretty much have always been
Good stuff.
capable of eating like a lot. So that was definitely more. It's not that I didn't like the good foods, but I could eat a lot of all the foods. So
I think that was a problem too, was the portion control. You really, portion control is so important. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
How much is there? I forgot to mention here. You guys are allowed to ask questions too. I have a list of questions, but if you have some questions, you know, we can feel free to fire some of these. And I have, you know, my flow for this is I want to talk about just some of the habits, you know, of as you're overweight, what kind of habits that you have. Kind of go through what you currently do, you know, and you know, some of the things like how do you deal with life as it comes your way, you know, now. And try to avoid some of that stuff, and then you know how you plan to go for the future and stuff like that too. So that's kind of my flow, you know, in here. So if anybody has any questions about you know when they were heavier, like how do they deal with that? It's kind of where I'm at now. So yeah, do you have any other things there?
I have a question. So sometimes when we're working on weight loss, we have a slip up. And then, like, for me in the past, a slip up has led to, well, what the heck, I might as well eat a whole pizza. I might as well do X, Y, and Z and have another glass of wine. And So how do you, when you have a no good bad day, how do you recover from that? Like, what are some strategies that have worked for both of you, like the next day or the next week or whatever it is?
It might be helpful, like think about actually physically recover to get back to doing that day, but also how do you mentally rally?
I think for me, if you need a second,
Definitely.
It's mental for me more than anything. I think that because my portion control was always my issue, that a big day for me would be like a holiday or something where like there's a lot of everything. So like it's easy for me to automatically like want to have a little bit of everything and then maybe a little bit more, and then like I don't wait for myself to like catch up to like feel full, and then I feel like I overdid it and then disappointed that I overdid it. So it's like definitely like a mental game for me more than anything. Physically, I think I've gone through it enough to where I kind of know the pattern. So like I'll go away on a work trip, I'll come back and the scale say I'm 4 pounds heavier. I know a lot of it's blow because I don't eat enough to gain 4 pounds in like a weekend.
It's good to know that too.
Yeah, but I know in my mind I'm like I failed at something, like I need to like get myself like, and I'll be harder on myself. So I try to, generally it levels off like within the week, but I have to tell myself all the time. And sometimes I tell him too, I'm like, I'm not happy right now. Like, he's like, it's fine, you're fine. But like really the long game, this is the long game. Like I'm in this for life. So it's like to think in the short term, it's a short term problem, but a long term gain. So I feel like I have to tell myself like, it's okay to leave it where it was, and it was a day, and I'm allowed to have that day, and having that day lets me not have that day every day. So when I do that one time, and I generally don't feel great at the end of it, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that that's a reminder, and then I feel like very ready to like get back into like my normal stuff after, and within the week, usually I have leveled out. Yeah.
So I feel a lot of the same that you just said. If I've slipped up and I'm there, I let it go. And I didn't early on. Early on I did not. It took me a lot of years to get there.
Was there anything that got you there? Like was it?
You know, I think the most consistent thing when we would come in and weigh in, and I could see what I've done. So I knew, and then to fix it, you know, you just get back on. You just log your food, you just stay accountable, and you know you're allowed to have a slip up here and there, and you can't focus on that, you know. Like you said, you just go back and you fix it and you go on. Yeah, I'm curious
that I feel like there's some more in there somehow.
There is,
That's tricky. It's super hard to do. Yeah, to get to the place where you're like, you know, especially like, let's say like the first time you did it, you know, like let's say you have some great months in a row or something, you know, and then you're like I went off bad.
Well, sometimes I would have people like come up to me and they're like, Megan, like, do you remember like even just where you were like 2 months ago? And they'll like show me a picture of myself, like even when I'm like, it was like a terrible weekend, you know, whatever. And they're like, you have come so far in such a, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, a shorter amount of time, but I've spent my life heavier. So 4 years is a short amount of time on when I have 36 years on the planet, you know, so to kind of see it and put things into perspective, try to be easier on myself.
Because I think when you beat yourself up over and over, you're going to continue the negative cycles. I find that with me, if I'm beating myself up, I'm just going to keep eating and I'm just going to keep it going. Where if I stop myself, I reset myself and commit to it, I know I can overcome that. And I have a few times.
Yeah. So the victories of the past remind you that you can do it again in the future.
Yes.
I've recovered from this before.
I can do it again. Yeah.
Yesterday ended last night.
Yep. Right.
It's a new day.
And I like how you said too that you have some people that are around you that will help remind you, right? And kind of help partner with you. I think for some of us, we're in situations where we have family members or spouses that either help us or derail us, right? And like for me, what I've noticed on occasion is the people that are derailing, when you take a step back, it's really not about you, it's about them and whatever they're working through. So to try to have that, like if you can get to that mindset, it's a good place to be. I'm just curious in terms of your home situations or what you have going on, what support has been helpful to you, and where has there been moments when you're like, you can't do that, right? Just curious if there's any examples that come up or anything that would be helpful for us to know.
I think big things for me is like some of it just can't be in the house. Like it's like peanut butter was triggering for me for a very long time. I like love peanut butter. So it took me a while to like give up on certain things like that. But usually if I feel that way, like I will try to eat like earlier in the day, and if that means I can't eat like when everybody else does, like I will do that so I can have like what I need and not like be super exposed to it if I'm feeling like especially weak. But then usually like I try to distract myself. Like I'll go for a walk and try to do things to like exit that. And you generally when I work out, like it kind of fizzles out a little bit.
Like having hunger or craving or something like that. Even just going for a walk sometimes, switch it around.
And I drink a lot of water.
Yes.
Like a gallon, like a day.
Me too.
Yeah, and that really helps. Like I do a lot of that stuff before I enter any of those situations. But of course, like having people in the house that are like on the same page and not bringing a lot of that stuff that you could want to snack on. Like I just try to not keep it around like at all.
Same.
In what you're saying, you know, I stay up late. Well, I'm up till 11:30, whatever, 12 at night. When you get hungry after dinner, what do you eat that you're not going to gain a lot of calories from? And please don't say vegetables. But
Sorry.
I'm just wondering what you eat when you're so hungry and you're not going to bed for a while.
So somebody ate
Something
at
to snack
6
on.
or 7 p.m. And you're up till 10
We'll
or
say
11.
5 to 6 if you eat dinner at that time.
Yeah.
There's
And
All right,
so
so
then you're going to be really hungry. What do you suggest?
what do you do?
popcorn. I love popcorn. Popcorn is
I mean, skinny.
the skinny pops. There's a lot of the popcorns. There's a lot of rice cake things I can do. I know. I'm very, after dinner, I'm done. I brush my teeth, I wash my face. I know at that point, I am done. I am done. I cut myself off, and there's
So that's all a mind game. Then.
that is a mind game. But at that
What
point,
time do you go to bed?
because I work out at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm in bed by 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm an empty nester, 8:30. So,
What time do you go to bed, Megan?
My days are pretty much accounted for, like from start to finish. So I usually don't go to bed till like 10:30,
10:30.
11. But like I work late a couple days a week. So when I get home, I will eat, and then I'm like, again, like I'm pretty much done. I wasn't always like that. I used to I would like make a big thing of like tea. It's like liquids basically at that point for me. Like I would have tea that had like a little bit of flavor in it, like so I felt like I was tasting something, but
Decaffeinated tea because
decaffeinated, yes,
Sure.
Yeah.
But they have like, pumpkin ones that have like no calories or anything in it. So I would do like a lot of that. Sometimes I would munch on like celery, something that just gave me something. But honestly, like I do the same thing.
Like vegetables for sorry.
Yes. Yeah, like at the end of the night, it's like when I go for a really long walk, like usually for an hour, and
But
then
that's when I can do all that at night when it's before it gets dark, but it's when it gets dark.
you want something.
usually like that's what my walk is like when it's dark. My earliest I ever get out of work is like 6 o'clock, so usually by the time I get home and I food prep, like I spend a lot of time food prepping and stuff like that for the next day, so it's all done. And then I go for like an hour walk. I get myself ready for bed. Maybe I'll make tea, but usually like it's a mind game for me, and I just have to tell myself like I'm done, and it's not like going to be an option. And then I just have to put myself to bed.
When you're in the
Maybe
grocery
go to bed.
store, when you're in the grocery store, like I get ice cream, you just keep away from those items, right?
Yeah,
or
like
you get them if you're having them for somebody in your house.
I found a lot of hacks for things like that. Like I still don't eat them late, but like if I feel like I want something sweet, like I'll have like Greek yogurt and I put like some sweetener in it, and like they have like the little pudding mixes, so like you can put into it, you can put some fruit in it, and I will do something like that. Like they even have like sugar-free like Cool Whip that you can freeze, and it's like 25 calories max. I mean, maybe wouldn't do that nightly, but like if that's like the treat, it's like way less than like consuming ice cream. So
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool Whip, I freeze it. Yeah.
And the Jello without any.
Yep.
I mean
The sugar-free Jello.
pudding
Yep.
without any.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Few calories.
When was the last time you had straight up ice cream?
You always tell me to eat ice cream when I need my high day, but
Have you had any?
not this winter. No, it's too cold right now. But
Well,
I took the dog for ice cream yesterday, but not me. No.
So it's been before the winter as well?
Yeah.
and do you eat mostly vegetables and fruit? I mean, do you eat a lot of that, or you just?
All right, let's go.
I'm sorry, I'm
No,
going-
you're good.
Oh yeah, let's do that one. We'll jump to that. So, you what's a typical day?
A typical day is I'm a creature of habit. We do a Vitabot here. We log our food every single day.
Yeah, I know.
And so whatever worked for me is a typical day for me is in the morning I'll have 4 eggs. I have turkey sausage with peppers, so I make a little omelet. I'll have an energy drink, and then for lunch I'll do a lot of vegetables with some hummus.
This is all for breakfast?
Nope, now I'm going to lunch. So now that was breakfast. So like my 2 biggest meals, my biggest meal is breakfast and lunch. And then my dinner is my smallest meal.
Okay.
So I try to stay about 12 to 1,500 calories, more towards the 1,200 every day. So yeah, and I try to stick right in there. So in lunch, my lunch is pretty decent. I'll have a piece of chicken sausage. I'll have vegetables, hummus, a yogurt, some fruit, and a granola bar. So I mean, I'm eating a lot of food, but the food I'm eating is lower calories, higher protein. So I'm getting my protein and I'm sticking with my calories. And then dinner, like I said, is a very small meal. It might be a little piece of chicken and cottage cheese, and then I'm done.
Is it chicken and cottage cheese?
Not always, but I mean, sometimes I throw fruit in
Is there
there.
vegetable in there too?
No, I had that for lunch.
Oh, okay. Do you put anything on the chicken?
Sometimes I marinate it, like and grill it, but nothing, no, not really. Like, very simple. I mean, I know what had worked for me, and I stuck with it for a very long time. I didn't change my foods for a very long time. I was able to stick with the same things, and that helped me. But in the last couple of years, I've gone off a little bit
I
more.
would say, what's a relaxed day?
Probably pizza, and probably, I definitely like Thursday nights. My husband and I will do dinner, and a lot of the times we'll do a pizza. We'll do, that is a day. If you look in my log, I'm not logging Thursdays because that's my off day. That is my off day. You're not allowed to see what I do on that day.
Logging everything that's on it in a pizza.
And it's so funny. A funny story is I remember at one point, going into this first 6 years, and I'm gaining weight and I'm getting mad, and I remember Jeremy going, he's like, Kris, your Vitabot looks good, but the scale's not lying, because I wasn't logging all my food. So I'm trying to take one over on him, and he's like calling me out on it. Yeah, he's like, huh. So I'm like, oh crap, he caught me. So yeah, that one, yeah, I mean, I log everything. I log. So, and I think I always say, if I'm not logging, I'm gaining weight. I am gaining weight if I am not logging. That is something I think I will have to do forever. I don't know if you,
My days have gotten pretty strict over the years, but it wasn't an overnight thing. I think I'm just more accustomed, but I hated logging my food. That's a huge reason why I've been here as long as I have, is the accountability that I need. I used to say it was like the right amount of shame. That's what I would call it, but it was not anything that they were doing, but it was an accountability I needed. I knew by standing on the scale every day, I wasn't gonna eat that cookie. I knew by like he was gonna tap into my Vitabot, that I wasn't gonna miss logging it because I didn't want to be caught not doing it, so I would start doing it. So like that was like a lot of the things that like I really need to do to stay on like the straight and narrow. But my days now are like pretty much the same because I hate logging my food. I also can't.
It's easier, yeah. You just copy and paste the same.
Yeah, exactly. I also can't eat things I really love. Like I've learned that enough about myself to like I will always overdo it if I really, really like it. So I eat things I like, but I don't love. So like for breakfast, I eat like egg whites. Usually like a half cup of egg whites, I'll cook it into like an omelet, and I'll put some cottage cheese in there. Like I have all the grams like already. And I'll put a little bit of like sharp cheddar. I like cheese. So it's like all about where I'm going to spend like my miscellaneous calories. So I'll do a little bit of sharp cheese in there. But then I always have like 300 grams of veggies in the morning. So I eat like undesirably to most people. So like I will have like cauliflower, or it'll be a mixture of like green veggies, maybe some onions, like broccoli, zucchini, like maybe green peppers, things like that. In the beginning of the week when I know I work late, I put my chicken into my breakfast. Again, it's my biggest meal of the day because I know I'll burn it off by the end of the day. But usually I'll put like a piece of chicken in there, and I douse everything in hot sauce because that's what I like.
Hot sauce is a great option.
Yeah, or like mustard again.
There's a lot of flavor in mustard. There's a lot of vinegar. Like it's a strong flavor.
I like strong flavor.
Like almost 0 calories.
Exactly.
Yeah, mustard is 0.
And I usually have like doors of kinds of stuff all in my doors of like condiments. So I try to like be mindful of the ones I'm choosing. And then for lunch, I drink water all day. I do drink coffee. I love my coffee. So I'll do that. And then for lunch, I usually do like Greek yogurt, and I'll do like sugar-free cheesecake, like a little sprinkle of that into that, and like a little bit of a sweetener, and I'll put some raspberries or blueberries, whatever, if I'm feeling crazy. And then I'll eat that for lunch, and then I get like a good amount of protein from that, and then from that as well. And then for dinner, it's usually a lean meat, so it'll be a turkey or chicken. And I'll either do like tacos if I feel like crazy. I'll put them in like a lettuce boat, and I'll like do little things with that. Or I will just have a different veggie. But usually at night, it's a lean meat and a veggie. Yep.
I do a cottage
But again,
cheese.
it's like also one of my smaller meals because I try to like walk everything off and like get into bed without like a full belly. Yeah. But I drink water like literally all day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use the carbonated waters too, that are like the orange pineapple or whatever. I'll have those, and they'll kind of take up some space too. So I never really feel like too hungry.
I think we have so many grams of protein throughout the day. I generally never.
Yeah, I stay around like maybe 115.
I say about 120 grams of protein a day. Yeah.
So if you don't know how many grams of protein you have, it's good to check every once in a while. Just see like where am I at? And
And if you're not weighing, you're definitely overdoing it.
For the day.
That's me.
And like you'd be kind of hungry.
Yeah.
Kind of hungry at 50 grams of protein in the day. It doesn't quite fill you up, as much, and then you do end up chasing a lot more other calories and things like that too. So you occasionally have pizza and things like that. I've told you to have a high day. I'm like, because moderation is not good for me sometimes, like I usually will have like a day. So Sundays is like when I do Sunday dinner with some of my family, and I'll be a little bit more liberal. But for me, it's like if there's a dessert made or something like that, I'll have some of that. But generally when I'm allowed to have more, I will have more of the things I like. I don't usually go for like a full pizza or something like that because I can take it down. Exactly. I really like chicken wings, so I will do that with blue cheese, and then I'll maybe have like a cocktail, and I will have like a small like portion of like a dessert.
And I think that's the fear, because it took me years to do a cheat day as well.
Yeah.
So I think it is a fear.
When you finally get a handle on it, you're losing weight. You're like, I don't want to mess this up.
Yeah. So it took
For me, it like unlocks something. Like the second I put something I shouldn't in my mouth, it's like a flip.
Yeah.
is switched in my brain, and I could go, it doesn't stop. Like I could go all day, I can overeat all day, I never feel full, I just feel sick, but I could continue all day. Like my brain will not be like, that's enough. So like I have to be very, very careful of that. Yeah.
Especially so like the beginning of the day is really important.
Yeah.
You know, to make sure you really start off well.
Yep.
So you're not chasing it all day.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Got some good stuff going on here. What keeps you going? You know, what keeps you going at it? You know, especially like, you know, for Kris, it may be a little extra right now because you've been kind of at that spot for a bit now.
Yeah. Probably that picture. That picture is on my refrigerator. I look at that picture. Yeah, I don't want to go back there. So my motivation is, I don't want to feel like that. I feel so much better. I have the energy. I have grandchildren I want to play with. I want to run with. I work in a high school with big children that I need to keep up with. You know, yeah, the energy. That's what keeps me going. The energy I have now. I feel younger now than when I was younger. So just the overall feeling. Of course it looks good, but the feeling is so much better than the looks. Yeah.
For me, I think it's been all around. There's not been one downside for me. Like mental health is a big thing, like for me, and like a big priority as well. And I feel like the routines, like I used to wake up late with just enough time to get ready, and then if there was traffic, I'd be stressed out about like getting to work on time, and like I just started my day off wrong like all the time. So for me, it's like being up, I start my days like slower, I come here and I immediately have energy. Like my workout is done for the day, so if I choose to do a walk or something else, it's just bonus, but I don't hold myself to like a ridiculous standard to like be sure I'm doing it every single minute, or if it's only 30 minutes and not an hour, like it's okay. My important one was done already. Like I'm showered, I get myself ready for work. I'm like alert, I'm up, I'm not lagging, I'm not stressed about getting to work on time, like, and I am calm and happy like all day. And like that is the stability of that and the consistency that I know like I have this thing that I need to be there for and do all the time is like has really kept me fully like accountable, and like I leave and the sun comes up and like I already know like I'm good to go for the day, and that's been like huge for me, like huge. But also on top of that, like just generally like seeing myself differently, like looking in the mirror after never being this small in my whole life is a little bit jarring. Like I don't really recognize myself sometimes, you know? But I feel like it's been sticking to a goal and having like a long-term plan, I feel like has been motivating, and I'm kind of excited to see like where it goes. To see like muscles start to come through and stuff is like very trippy for me. So it's been very cool to like see that.
That's neat.
That's
neat.
It's
The feeling.
Oh yeah.
Right. Recognize that.
Sometimes maybe like to look at that, like you talk, you just talk about your eating and like you're like, and people think about the exercise you're doing, and they're like, this just sounds like awfulness.
Yeah.
You know, like this sounds like you know, like it's a lot of different things that I don't normally eat. That's an exercise level that I don't do. You know, and it sounds like it's just going to be miserable. You know, but you guys are finding like, I mean, just but the mental health.
Yeah, like on the weeks that we're closed, like he knows like probably not even to look me in the eye when I know it's going to be closed for the week, because I am like so not happy about it. Like, I don't know, like my mood is just a little bit more like off kiltered than normal. Like I sleep a little bit later, you know, like I just feel like when I'm not into this routine, I'm just off. You know, so I really rely on it.
I agree. I agree. That the accountability and the friends we have in class definitely hold us. We all hold each other pretty good. Yeah, that I like too. I agree. Okay.
Could you expand a little bit on the supportive environment? Because for people who haven't been here, it's really hard to explain. So
Oh, the environment up here?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just curious at how you would describe it, particularly like when you first came in and you were really overwhelmed, right? Like you did not know what was going to happen and were feeling really maybe scared. Like how did you work through that, and what was it like for you?
And how long did you stay scared?
And how long did you stay scared? Yeah.
I'm still scared. Still scared of you. You still get that.
You're scared.
Yeah.
You get the side eye from Jeremy. That's what
Like when
I
you first walk in, on your first trip in the door, and you're here for a workout, like that's scary. Like most times you walk in a brand new place, you're like, I don't know anybody or anything, about this. They could be terrible people.
You know what? And I came in and I was so overweight, and I came into a boot camp style class, and I'm like, oh my God. And I come into the 510 class where everybody has been here for years, and I'm the new one coming in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do this? I am this big, and can I do this? And I remember Jeremy would come over and he would be like, we can modify that. And I'm like, oh, no, we're not modifying. So I had a level of fear, but I think with everybody encouraging and supporting and you showing the right way to do things, and our classmates, and I don't know, it's just different. I don't even know how to describe it. It is inviting, it is nurturing, it is, what else would you add in that? I mean, there's so
For
many.
you, how long did you get not scared? Or are you still scared?
No, not scared anymore, but definitely when I started out, I was nervous. Like I'd been doing the online stuff and I'd gotten some type of experience, but being here was totally different, and I was tired. I was tired all the time, like just winded from these workouts. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm never gonna get there. But to see so many people at different levels, like for injury or for age or for whatever's appropriate for them, to watch everybody do just their personal best, made me feel and whenever we're partnered together, everyone's super cheering you on and calling out your name and stuff like that, and it just really felt like a judgment-free space where you could just work on doing things properly, and the amount of posture feedback and stuff. If I go to any other class outside of here and no one's correcting me, I'm I know I'm doing something wrong. Because he's always breathing down my neck, so I'm there's no way I'm doing everything right here. But I feel at first it was definitely nerve-wracking, but every time it was nice to see people compliment nice job, or I see that you could do this workout longer than you could before. So
Plus the workouts are fun. I mean, they're never boring. They're always fun. I mean, they're fun. We do themed workouts. What, Lisa? You don't like it?
Stop that word.
Yeah, they are
Maybe
fun.
it's the cardio ones.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, they're fun. We would have fun when he dresses up.
The strength only.
Oh, you only
It's
do the
really good
weightlifting?
They're just training, yeah. But in the cardio ones, there's a little more variety in the cardio.
We do laugh a lot. There's
Yes.
no doubt
Oh,
about it.
Some of that, right,
absolutely.
Lisa?
Yes.
All right,
You know,
so
and that is.
I want to switch out of this a little bit. I do want to make sure that I do love the advertising. But I want to make sure that even if somebody doesn't join, that we deal out as much good stuff as we can.
Absolutely.
Here. They say being overweight can be contagious. Right? We talked about that, I think, this week even. And then getting healthier can be contagious. Do you have any ideas of how your change has affected others around you in a positive way?
I do, yeah. So when I started losing weight, I have 3 boys. My middle son also lost 100 pounds. Carter did, yeah. So Carter lost weight. And then it just became a whole thing in my house. We would go through the cupboards and just throw stuff away. And, we all relearned as a family. And my boys were super supportive. And, we just did it as a family, really. They were supportive of me. They were my biggest fans. My God, I've run 5Ks with my kids now. I've done stuff that I never would have done before. Yeah, so the home support is so, so important. And I think the more that people you get on board, and my school friends have been really good, and people who I don't even...
You probably had some effect on them too,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, I've had people come in. I had a student once when you had the sign up of my before and after picture. One of my students is like, Mrs. Boylan, I saw you, but I seen you, but I didn't know the other girl on the other side. So she's like me, and she's like, I didn't know the other lady, and I'm like, me neither, you know. Me neither. You know, and since this has been advertised, you know, I've changed to the high school, and I have people are like, oh, you're the tall trainer girl. You're the tall trainer girl. Like, yeah. So I mean, I'm always open to questions. I'm always open if anybody wants help, I would love to do it. I have no problem helping. I've been in that shoe before, so if anyone needs help, I love to do it. Absolutely.
Megan, have you noticed any effect on people around you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like just down to like nightly walks with like friends and family and things like that has been like huge, or just being able to discuss like things that we've learned, or sending each other like funny videos and stuff. But it's interesting like who really like rises up to support you when you say like, no, I'm not going to go out to dinner tonight, or like I can't really do these cocktails, like I'm doing this thing, and like, or I'm more selective about when I'm doing that, like who is kind of there to support that, and it's like, okay, like what, you know, what are you having, or what is going, you know, like just kind of getting more involved with the people that are in your space that are like, let's go for a walk, it's nice out, you know, when that would have never really been the conversation before. So like being able to, it's been a lot of me being like, I want the people I love and the people that I surround myself with to be as healthy as possible and be around as long as possible, and to not have to start doing something so late that you regret starting it so late, and you have even that much more to push forward on. So I feel like talking about it is like a big part of it for me. But then anybody that has like started to work on that, like we really kind of stuck to each other and like a little bit of like a core.
So we're working out that stuff as well.
You know, Jerry, the one thing that I always have taken away for years is one thing that was said to me was weight loss doesn't start in the gym, it starts in the kitchen. And that was so important. Like I could work out and work out and work out, but if I went home and shoved my mouth with all the things, I just did everything, you know. So
it's pretty easy to undo.
So
pretty long workout.
You know, learning the nutrition, and that was even difficult at some points. You know, we use a Vitabox system. I would go to Wegmans and just scan for hours looking at things. I mean, you have to put time in.
To learn it.
Yeah, you have to put time in. You know, it doesn't come easy. There is meal prepping, there is learning, there is a lot that goes into it. It just isn't, you know, I spend 4 hours on Sundays meal prepping for the week. You know, but it's there.
But it's faster for the week then.
Yeah, it's faster. Yeah, because I'm not, you know, I'm here, I'm out the door. And, So I grab and go. There's no thinking. It's done and I'm out the door. So it is definitely the time needs to be put in to make it happen for sure.
So I got a couple more. We're almost done here, so I'll make sure I really nail the last couple here. And if anybody has any questions, make sure you do too. Let's hit this one here. How do you manage negative emotions? All right, you know, so a lot of times those negative emotions, you know, a lot of people run to food. You know, for some of those. Have you found other things to help you with that? So like depression, anxiety, fear, worry. You know, like what do you do? You know, with that.
I'm gonna piggyback off you. It sounds like you walk a lot. I love to walk too. One thing I do a lot of walking.
So So if you just have a really stressful day, you know, it'd be a solution might be going for a walk.
I would just go home and grab my dog and go for a walk. Yeah, that would be exactly what I would do.
For me, it's definitely like working out. Like I'm not, I do have a lot of anxiety if I don't like work myself out. Like almost like a dog that like needs to be ran. That is like
it's anxious.
That's me. I'm like an anxious dog.
You say that. It's interesting to start paying attention to. Yeah.
Right, it is like that. So like that's why like I'm just for like if we're closed and the workouts are not hard enough to like kind of curb it for me, like I can be a little bit more rocky. But I've never been like. In fact, food is a huge turnoff for me when I feel like that. So I've never like wanted to eat when I feel like overwhelmed or anxious. But I do notice like if I take a walk or I have like a stationary bike, things like that, and I'm like at it, like I will feel it start to like melt away. So like that is
feeling starts to go.
Yeah, like that's what I have to do.
Movement, I definitely need a movement. Yeah.
And my routines, like having like doing certain things to get myself to certain places at certain times, like keeps my mind like focused.
All right. Wow. Let's see. It's interesting. I think I might actually be like the anxious dog.
Are you the anxious dog too?
I'm like, so I might have some of that too. I'm going to pay attention more.
Yeah.
Pay attention more. You know, to some of that. How will you keep this up? How will you keep going?
I don't foresee myself like stopping. I think that for me, it's like really been a lifestyle adjustment. Even like I just said, for the last time we had closed down for a week was the first time I did not gain when I came back. Whether it was bloat or not, like I felt the best I've ever felt about managing it myself, knowing that like, because I would have like a cheat weekend, knowing I wasn't gonna have to weigh in on Monday, and then I would have the week to like get rid of it, you know, if that was the case, and like just work out a little bit more and do a little bit more. But like, I really just stuck to what I normally would do if I was still here. And really focused on that, but pretty much everyone in my life knows that like during the week I'm not going anywhere, like I can't be bothered. Like I get up, I work out, like I work, I meal prep, I go for my walk, like I'm in bed by like a certain time, so I'm not even asked like if I want to do something anymore because I'm just.
And that's funny because to piggyback off that, I feel the same way. I used to go out a lot and I do a lot of things, and then when I started taking care of me and giving me the priority, I was like, I'm not going out. I'm not doing, you know, I could say, no, I'm not doing that. Where before I would always just do it and I would go, but after you get yourself to a certain point, I think you feel good enough about yourself where you can say, I'm not doing that anymore.
It sounds so your friend and family time is like it's become more walking and more active stuff too.
So now it's more active stuff. Like if I go over to like their house for dinner, like we take a walk afterwards, or we're mindful about like what I'm eating or not eating. They always ask me like, can you have this or that? Like it's just very like considerate of like where I'm at right now and like my process. And if I do something during the week, it's like it's got to be like what I get to do to like accomplish these things. So if you want to come for a walk with me, by all means. But if you don't, like I'm doing this either way. And my flexibility, what I give back in my mind is like Friday nights, Saturday nights is like when I can be more flexible. So if you want to meet out somewhere, or you want to do something, like I know I reserve that time to meet a friend or do a thing, you know, that might not be what I want to do or what I would normally choose, but like I try to find balance that way, like a couple days a week.
Pretty good boundary work here, that's pretty solid. All right, so I guess like the final thing is like any encouragement, you know, that you want to give to, you know, to people here, you know, people who are thinking about, man, this is really hard. Like I know I'd like to lose weight. I want to lose weight. You know, maybe I'm currently losing weight. Like how can, you know, any last words for them for getting going or keeping going?
For me, it was like a total mind shift. Like I changed careers and have done a lot of very like big things in like a short amount of time, and it was always like why can't I just find the one thing that's going to snap me into this and like get behind it? Whatever that is for you, like I feel like that's the biggest takeaway. Like whether it's like wanting to be able to play with your grandkids or be able to like tie your shoe without being tired, or being able to like wake up earlier and start your day off earlier and slower, you know, whatever it is. Like I feel like that's been the biggest thing for me, is that like there has not been like a downside. So yes, it was like a short-term stressor to like be here and to be tired during the beginning of those workouts, but then slowly like to see my mental relief, my stability, like the way it was affecting all the other areas of my life. Like I know I want to be healthy and I want to feel good and I want to see what my body is capable of. Like that has shifted and become my priority. So it's like, I guess I would say it's going to be uncomfortable. It's a big adjustment for sure, but it's worth it, because just like anything that's hard in the beginning, like learning something new is hard and it takes more time, but once you do it more often, it becomes a routine and a habit, and it becomes much easier and much quicker. Just like learning a new job. Like it's hard and it's uncomfortable at first, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and then you find fulfillment and enjoyment out of seeing like what you're actually, like what your body's truly capable of. And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at now, is like coming in and being tired and leaving, being like, wow, that was a really sweaty, awful workout. Or like I hated waking up. I hated my alarm going off at 5 a.m. Like I hate it every day. Like it's like, to me, that's like a short-term stressor for like this long-term like gain for me, and like a minute to be around and as healthy as long as possible.
And really, you have to find what works for you.
Right.
There's so many things out there. There's so many things you can try, but you have to find where you're comfortable and where you're going to start, wherever that may be. And then you know, once you find that comfortable, like I said, I tried so many different things. And then when you find your comfortable spot, you are going to excel in it. You are going to do it. Because I never gave 100% in any of the other things I did until Tall Trainer. Then it clicked. Things were clicking, and the help that was given was helpful, and the encouragement was there. So I mean, it was just all the right parts at all the right time for me, and everything just worked in my favor. So I feel like you have to find what works personally for you, whatever that is.
Yeah, like I started eating like keto when I first started losing weight and dieting. That was what worked for me at the time. It was not a long-term solution for me by any means, but I like cheese and I like condiments, and all high-fat foods were exciting to me. So that is what got me like at least channeled into that, and then it became much easier for me to be like, okay, like that's not sustainable, and to start like gearing more towards like the veggies and the lean meat and stuff like that.
Because I think not only did we lose weight, we learned a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
So losing the weight is wonderful, but also all the other tools and learning how to be healthy and learning what our body needs. I didn't always know all of
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So that has been really the most helpful thing for me.
I agree.
Yeah. Is that-
Could I just add on that, like, I started out, Jeremy used to come to remember Jeremy
Yeah.
used to come to my house before he even started
Before there was a
doing all of
studio.
this.
Oh my God.
And then I was in where you all are.
Yes.
And then, but that was just when I had to lose like maybe 10 pounds or something. And then just recently in the last 10 years, I've gained weight. I lost my husband, and it was, you know, so I would eat. And so anyhow, they do have something for every level, I wanted to say,
Yes.
in boot camp. I'm not sure exactly what the name of it is.
Oh, boot
I
camp,
call
right.
it geriatric boot camp. I thought I was going to be the oldest, and I am the youngest. I have one lady on one side of me who is 86. The other lady on the other side of me is 83. And we have fun. When you see what these people can do, it's just amazing. And yes, I've got a lot to keep up with them. But it's fun. And then they have another program that's called
Which is the stretching class, right? Yeah.
Stretching
Just
is
stretching class.
unbelievable. That stretching one, you get to stretch every part of your body. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, with Jeremy, there is something for every group.
Yes.
And they're very supportive. They tell you, well, let's just step back a little bit and
try it this way.
yeah, but then the next time you probably will get it. So there is something for everybody.
Yeah, I've been doing it 6 years. I still learn something.
Yes.
Yeah, there's always something. Yeah, you know, I fought the weight training. I did not want to lift weights. I did not want muscles. Like no, my muscles were cool. And so, you know, but then losing the weight, he was like, you need to tone up. You're gonna have loose. So doing the weights and doing the routine helps. Yes, does all of that. So you're right, and there are different stages of everything. Yeah.
And I want you guys to know that you can do this.
Yes.
Not this thing, but the weight loss in general. It is possible. You know, sometimes when you're in that spot and you've been stuck for a while, it kind of feels like this is just the way I am. This is just the way I am. You know, but you go like it's just where our habits keep us. You know, with different habits, you can get to a different place. You know, and if you really want to, it's possible. That's it, brother.